We want them to come. We want them to celebrate. We want them to watch the game. But when the time is up, they'll have to go home. Otherwise, they'll have to talk to Secretary No.
The Prime Minister's office is attempting to play down Friday's meeting between Mark Carney and Donald Trump on the sidelines of the FIFA World Cup draw, saying it will be a brief meeting. But a meeting is a meeting.
To FIFA to say if for whatever reason they need to move games from any other locations, that British Columbia stands ready.
U.S. President Donald Trump has been awarded the new FIFA Peace Prize at the World Cup draw. FIFA President Gianni Infantino presented him with the honor on stage.
It's a massive year of sport for Canada in 2026, and we couldn't be more excited to be hosting the World.
This seemed really generated by Infantino himself. There were some FIFA officials who kind of learned about the announcement of this prize in the news, but it's also not a surprise because, like we've said, Infantino and Trump have built very close ties. They've been friends for years now, but now that President Trump is back in the office and America is on the verge of hosting the World Cup next year, along with Canada and Mexico, Infantino has been at the White House very frequently for various World Cup announcements and also just to socialize with Trump.
The country is excited. We're just going to get more excited. Can't wait to welcome the world.
So FIFA has a very unique relationship when it comes to global politics. They like to talk about the idea that if you keep politics out of FIFA, then FIFA will have this ability to make the world a better place. So I call this sporting exceptionalism. And it's this idea that because it's just a sport, and it should be politically neutral, it has this ability to basically be a global diplomat. And Gianni Infantino, of course, is as the head diplomat within that sort of view of this role of FIFA in the broader global political system.
The maximum we can do with such a short time window tomorrow is to just not get on his bad side and maybe just get an indication of when we can start trade talks, but without really looking weak.
Oh, Canada! Oh, congratulations, Canada, ladies and gentlemen.
FIFA just handed Donald Trump a Peace Prize, while his own policies are about to destroy the 2026 World Cup. Think about that for a second. They're celebrating peace while Trump's creating chaos that could block millions of fans from attending soccer's biggest celebration. The irony is so thick you could cut it with a knife. This tournament was supposed to showcase North American unity, but it's turning into a political disaster before the first ball is even kicked. Let me show you exactly how political decisions are already breaking what should be the most inclusive World Cup ever. Trump's visa nightmare is blocking fans. Here's what's actually happening to fans trying to get to the World Cup. Trump just rolled out a new $250 visa integrity fee that hits international visitors on top of all the existing costs. That's an extra $250 just to prove you're not going to overstay your visa. But it gets worse. The administration has travel bans on 12 countries and restrictions on 7 more. They're also considering blocking travelers from 36 additional nations. Do the math on that. We're talking about potentially blocking fans from over 50 countries from attending a tournament that's supposed to bring the world together. Even basic tourist visits are getting hammered. ESTA fees are doubling from $21 to $40. That might not sound like much, but when you're a family of 4 from Europe trying to attend matches, these costs add up fast. And that's just the beginning. Victor Matheson, a sports economist at College of the Holy Cross, put it perfectly. He warned about immigration problems with fans and players going across borders. This isn't theoretical anymore. It's happening right now. Let me give you a real example of how broken this is becoming. Say you're a fan from one of the restricted countries. You've saved up for years to attend your first World Cup. You've got tickets. You've booked hotels. You've planned your entire trip around following your team. Then boom, new travel restrictions hit, and you can't even get a visa to enter the country where the matches are being played. But here's the really crazy part. The administration's policy changes are completely unpredictable. Tournament organizers are trying to plan logistics for the biggest sporting event in North America, but they can't even guarantee which fans will be allowed to attend. How do you plan transportation, accommodation, and security when you don't know who's coming. Andrew Zimbalist, who literally wrote the book on World Cup economics, captured the uncertainty perfectly. He said Trump might make it hard for people to travel, but even he may not know what he'll do. That's the guy organizing a global tournament talking about not knowing what his own immigration policies will be. Human rights groups are already writing letters to FIFA about potential discrimination. Human Rights Watch sent a letter to FIFA President Gianni Infantino in July, warning that U.S. laws under Trump could harm people, especially non-citizens trying to attend the tournament. The business community's freaking out too. These visa fees and restrictions aren't just affecting fans, they're hitting team staff, media, sponsors, and everyone else who makes a World Cup actually work. When you create uncertainty around who can travel to your country, you create uncertainty around the entire event. And remember, this is supposed to be the biggest World Cup ever. 48 teams, 104 matches, hosted across 3 countries. The scale is massive, which means the potential for chaos is massive too. Tim Elcombe from Wilfrid Laurier University nailed it when he said this could be more political than the Qatar World Cup. Let that sink in. Qatar faced years of criticism for human rights issues, but at least fans knew what the rules were. With Trump's policies, nobody knows what's coming next. The administration keeps saying these measures are about security and immigration integrity. But when you're blocking fans from attending a soccer tournament, you're not protecting anything. You're just creating division where there should be celebration. The U.S.-Canada trade war is splitting the hosts. While Trump's visa policies are blocking fans, his trade war with Canada is tearing apart the co-hosting relationship itself. We're talking about 35% tariffs between countries that are supposed to be working together to host the world's biggest sporting event. Think about how insane that is for a minute. Canada isn't just sitting there taking it either. They've fired back with $60 billion in counter tariffs, making them the only country besides China to directly retaliate against Trump's trade policies. So now you've got 2 countries that are supposed to be celebrating unity while they're literally in an economic war with each other. The timing couldn't be worse. Remember, these 2 leaders set themselves a summer deadline to work out a trade deal. That deadline came and went last Friday with nothing to show for it. Both Trump and Prime Minister Mark Carney have basically admitted they're not going to reach a quick agreement. But here's where it gets really messy for World Cup planning. These aren't just abstract economic policies. The tariffs are hitting steel, aluminum, and auto parts. Those are exactly the materials and industries you need for building World Cup infrastructure and managing logistics between host cities. Canadian businesses are already diversifying away from U.S. partnerships because they can't rely on stable trade relationships. According to the Canadian Chamber of Commerce, almost 40% of goods exporters have already found suppliers outside the U.S., and 28% have diversified their buyers. When your co-host country's businesses are actively trying to avoid working with you, how exactly do you coordinate a massive international tournament? Trump isn't just using tariffs for economic reasons either. He's using them to pressure Canada on defense spending and border security right in the middle of World Cup preparation. It's like holding the tournament hostage to get what he wants on completely unrelated issues. The bitter irony here is incredible. This World Cup was specifically designed to showcase North American unity and cooperation. The whole pitch to FIFA was about 3 neighboring countries working together seamlessly. Instead, we've got escalating economic conflict that's forcing Canadian companies to plan around not working with American partners. Martha Hall Findlay from the University of Calgary School of Public Policy pointed out that Canada is doing what the Americans wanted us to do by ramping up defense spending and border security. But it's not enough. The trade war continues, and the uncertainty is killing business confidence on both sides of the border. The Canadian government has brought in relief programs for affected industries and collected about $1.5 billion more in import duties than last year because of the counter tariffs. That's $1.5 billion that could have been invested in World Cup infrastructure and preparation instead of fighting an economic war with your co-host. Business leaders on both sides are begging for certainty, but they're not getting it. Catherine Fortin-Lefebvre from the Canadian Chamber of Commerce said businesses are craving certainty after months and months of tumultuous announcements, but they don't want certainty at the expense of a really bad deal. The worst part? This trade relationship affects way more than just the host countries. The US and Canada have deeply integrated supply chains that support industries across North America. When you disrupt those relationships, you're not just hurting two countries. You're creating ripple effects that could impact everything from transportation to accommodation to security for the entire tournament. FIFA's political theater exposed. Now let's talk about FIFA's role in this mess. That Peace Prize ceremony wasn't about peace at all. It was pure political theater between Trump and FIFA President Gianni Infantino. The whole thing was manufactured from the start. FIFA officials learned about this Peace Prize from news reports, not from their own organization. Infantino basically created this award out of thin air to give to his buddy Trump. The timing wasn't coincidental either. This happened right around when Trump was openly campaigning for a Nobel Peace Prize, which he didn't get. Infantino has become a regular at the White House, showing up for various World Cup announcements, and also just to socialize with Trump, according to reports. That's not normal FIFA behavior. The head of soccer's governing body shouldn't be hanging out at political headquarters like he's part of the administration. The contrast is stunning. They're celebrating peace while Trump's policies are creating division among the host nations and blocking fans from around the world. It's like giving someone a humanitarian award while they're actively making the world less accessible to people who want to celebrate together. Tim Elcombe was right when he said this could be more political than the Qatar World Cup. At least Qatar's controversies were about the host country's policies. This time, we've got FIFA actively participating in political theater while ignoring how those same politics are undermining the tournament itself. Expert predictions are already calling this tournament a political disaster in the making. When the governing body of world soccer is more interested in photo ops with politicians than protecting the integrity of their own event, you know something's gone seriously wrong. This isn't what FIFA is supposed to be about. They're supposed to be focused on making soccer accessible to everyone, not manufacturing awards for politicians whose policies are doing the exact opposite. Conclusion. The 2026 World Cup was supposed to be a celebration of North American unity and the biggest, most inclusive tournament in soccer history. Instead, it's becoming a symbol of political division before it even starts. When visa policies block fans and trade wars split co-hosts, you're not hosting a World Cup anymore. You're hosting a political mess with soccer as the backdrop. What do you think? Should politics stay out of sports? Or is this just the reality of hosting global events today? Let me know in the comments.